Let's talk about overlays today. You probably know what an overlay is. I'm assuming that's why you're here. An overlay is what you see on your stream. There's your webcam, your game, or the application that you're capturing, and then there's everything around it, surrounding it. That's your overlay. This is everything from simple borders around your webcam or your game to crazy flashy animations that pop up for follower alerts, donations, subs, things like that, and everything in between all of those. If you use Twitch or a streaming service for any amount of time, you've probably seen tons of different types of overlays. Some are complicated and flashy with crazy custom animations, and some are simple, bare bones, maybe just a black screen with a camera and a game, and that's it. There's a million different ways to do an overlay. So what I want to accomplish today is just showing you a simple, straightforward way of how I tend to make my overlays, so that hopefully you can use this information to make your own custom overlays. An overlay isn't just graphics on a screen. If you do it right, it can be an integral part of your brand, your identity, how people view you, people clicking through on Twitch, finding different streams to discover. If you have an overlay that's maybe not just your webcam, you might have some better luck getting discovered if that's something you're trying to do and promote growth on your stream. Now, that's not to say you even need an overlay, but at the end of the day, they're fun to have. They're nice to look at, and in my opinion, they can add a lot of value to your stream if you're not bringing it in other places. We'll save the flashy graphics and animations for a tutorial in the future. Maybe we'll do something with After Effects or motion graphics, but today I just want to go into Photoshop and show you the basics of how I lay out a template for an overlay and then how I fill it in addition, how to import it into Streamlabs or OBS and set up all your sources around it to make your stream look as awesome as we can. So while I'm going to be working in Photoshop today, this information can be easily replicated in whatever program you want to use. I've used Photoshop most of my life, but I know GIMP is another free program that's great, and paint.net. I'm not sure if that's free, but if you just search the internet for image editing software, you'll find a whole bunch of options that'll get the job done. This is Six String Gaming, and today we're gonna show you how to make your stream look damn good. Let's go poke around in Photoshop, and I will get us up and running with a sweet custom overlay. The first thing we wanna do in Photoshop, open up a new document. We're going to make this the size of our canvas in Streamlabs or OBS, whichever software you're using. For most people, this is going to be 1920 by 1080, and I usually set the resolution to 300 pixels per inch to give the most detail and clarity we can squeeze out of this. Click OK, and your project will open up. Next thing I do is double click on background to unlock it and turn it into a layer. Now we can use this layer to start building our template, which we will later fill in with our webcam and various other elements we'll add. To start with, I usually make the background some sort of bright, vivid color so that it stands out and I never forget that this is the base canvas I'm working with. We use the paint bucket tool here to color that in. Now let's assume the green is our game screen. Now we need to figure out how we're going to build around it. Next, create another new file that's the same size as the one we just made. We're going to color the background of this one black. Press Ctrl or Command A to select the entire canvas, and then Ctrl or Command C to copy it. We're going to go back into our original document and paste this new one that we've made. This black image is going to represent our webcam. Next, come up to Edit, Transform, and Scale. This puts the object in transform mode. Next, we're going to hold down the Shift key and click the corner of this to drag it and make it consistently smaller. Make this however large you think you'll want to have your webcam on your stream, and click Enter when you're done. Now we're starting to have a basic idea of how our overlay is going to fit on top of our game. The next step and the first real part of the overlay that I like to design is the webcam border. So we're going to come up here to the rectangle tool, select it, and then outline the square that we just drew. We're going to right-click, select Stroke, and then choose the color that you want your border to be. Let's go with white. It's simple and it should stand out. Select your color and click OK, and then choose the width that you want your panel border to be. I find that 3 is a pretty comfortable number and it looks good on any of these settings. Choose whether you want the border inside, outside, or in the center of the shape that we've just drawn. We don't want the border to get cut off by the edge of the canvas over here, so I'm going to select inside and then select OK. Choose Control D or deselect your choice. Now come over here to the Magic Eraser tool, or if you see the regular eraser tool, hold down to select the Magic Eraser tool. Get rid of the black rectangle that we originally filled in, and now you can see our border. We can also clean up a little bit more of the black on our border that was left there. There are much more effective ways to do what I'm showing you, but I'm trying to keep it simple for the purposes of this tutorial. Now we have a webcam border, and that's about as simple as it gets as far as a minimalist overlay. If you want to change the color of your webcam border, just choose a different color, grab the paint bucket tool, and fill that in. Let's take things a step further and add some more bordering to our canvas. Let's go back to the rectangle tool and create a little bit of a rectangle up top, fill it in, and let's do the same thing down here at the bottom, connecting that up to our webcam border. Fill it in. Now, depending on the game you're playing, this may or may not be something you want to do because you might end up cutting off some vital information that your viewers need or want to see. However, if you decide this is something you want to go for aesthetically, this gives you a good opportunity to put your alerts, followers, sub mentions, anything you want about your stream up here or down here in the borders regions. Maybe you want to have your sub train up top and your social media links down below. Now you can do that. If you want to add some personality to your borders but not make them so blocky and obvious, here's something else we can try. I'm pressing Control, Alt, and Z to go backwards to before I created these boxes. Now what we're going to do this time is come up here to the feather selection and change that to 10. Enter to confirm. Now when we draw our boxes, you can see that when we go to fill them in, it won't be a solid color. It has that soft faded look to it. This is something you can do to add a nice little visual tweak to your stream without it being too intrusive to your viewers. I'll move this up out of the way a little bit so it meshes with the top of the canvas. What I'm going to do here is select this box and press Control-Shift-N to create a new layer and move it onto that layer. The way we had it before, this border and our webcam border were on the same layer. I want to affect them separately, so I made a new layer for this shape up here. Let's do Control-Shift-N to make a new layer again, and let's repeat that process down here at the bottom, selecting our space and then filling it in. Let's go back to our webcam layer and change the color of the border so it's a little more visible against this blue. Let's change it to a white. You can see the webcam border is covered up by the shape we just made. What we need to do is drag this layer above the rest so it's in the top of the order for our layers. Now let's go back to our shape layer and undo the feathering selection we made, bring it back to 0, and let's clear out this blue space inside of the webcam border. It's looking a lot cleaner now. If you're concerned about the feathering on the edges up and down here, simply go into the layer that you want to edit, grab a chunk of the middle here, press copy and paste, and just drag it into place, covering up what you want at the bottom. We can do the same for the top layer up here. Looking a lot better from where we started. This is pretty much it as far as a basic border-based overlay. Our next step is importing this into OBS or Streamlabs and adding our elements to it. We're going to want to save and export this image, but first, let's make sure we turn off the green background so that we have transparency when we import it into OBS. Let's go to File, Save As, and navigate to the folder you want to save it under. Let's save the Photoshop document first so we can come back to it if we need to. I'll call this Simple Overlay. Enter to save. Now let's save it again as a PNG file. Confirm, click OK, and now we'll jump over to OBS so we can set it up. Here we are in OBS. Start by opening up a new source and searching for image. Let's call this overlay, and we need to go find the PNG that we just saved. Once you found it, click to add the source, click OK, and let's turn off our monitor for a second. Now you can see the overlay has been successfully imported into the stream. Next, all we really need to do is add the webcam and we're pretty much done. I'll let you decide on your own how and where you want to set up your alerts, your social links, and anything else like that. Let's go to Add Source, select Window Capture Device, and I already have the webcam set up. Here I am. Let's drag our camera source down to size and align it with the overlay. If you're using a basic webcam like a Logitech C920, you probably have 1920 by 1080 output, which is why we made our border that size in the beginning. Line it up the way you want and you're pretty much done. Well, there you go. That's pretty much the basics of it. Hopefully now you've got a basic understanding of what types of things you can do inside of your image software to make a really simple, really effective custom overlay for your streams. I know there's tons of options out there for custom overlays made by other people and just services, things you can pay, Fiverr, stuff like that. I don't think people need that starting off. I think investing the time and learning how to do this stuff for yourself is an invaluable skill that you can keep coming back to and improving on anytime you want. Doing it on your own lets you discover what you like and sort of build your image and your brand as you go along. Whether you go simple and straightforward or crazy complex and super creative, there's an endless number of ways you can bring your own thoughts, ideas, and personality into your overlays. Got a link in the comments below to the free overlay we've built today and also the PSD if you want to open that up in Photoshop and edit it yourself, customize it, take what we've learned today, spit it back out in your own way. So I hope that's something you guys find useful. Let me know what kind of overlays you gravitate towards. Do you like them more simple and minimalist? Do you like things complicated, flashy, and in your face? Let's talk about it. If you like what you see with Six String Gaming, don't forget follow me on Instagram at Six String Gaming. We are on Twitter and Twitch. Six String 92. I stream Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hope to see you there. We have a lot of fun. As always, thanks for watching and good luck.